For Red Bull Racing, the next United States Grand Prix is crucial. Despite the Dutchman's advantage in the standings, the Austrians must be prepared with a successful upgrade package to help Max Verstappen in winning his fourth world title. Verstappen is now enjoying his time off and says that he's not looking forward to the upcoming F1 weekend, especially because things are looking rather bad for the squad, leaving us with questions like, can they turn things around? And will Verstappen be enticed to stay at the squad in the coming years? Verstappen is not looking forward to the US Grand Prix yet. In a recent livestream with his sim racing squad Redline, the next weekend's Grand Prix at the Circuit of the Americas was mentioned. When asked if he was looking forward to coming to Austin to begin the latter portion of the season, the Dutchman said honestly, "Not yet." He went on to explain why that is. "No, I mean it happens always when I get there. I get excited. Not yet. Now I'm excited to play EAFC ! Verstappen may find the upcoming F1 weekend in Texas to be crucial. While he leads Lando Norris by 52 points, the Dutchman believes Red Bull must improve in order to compete with the Briton on track, after Norris won by more than 20 seconds in Singapore. If not, it could be over for Verstappen this year, and that could turn out to be a massive turning point in the downfall for Red Bull. As after Max Verstappen's spectacular 2023 season with Red Bull Racing, it was difficult to picture the two ever parting ways. But a lot has happened since then, and it is far from clear that the Dutchman will remain with the Milton Keynes-based squad until 2028. Whether the three-time winner decides to continue or not, this will be his final alteration in the tournament. Verstappen has stated on several occasions that he wants to drive for the team with the quickest car. This was formerly feasible at Red Bull, but it is no longer the case. However, Verstappen emphasized that there is much more to his choice. "I have been with this team for a long time. It is logical that you always want to win. Everyone in the paddock wants to win. Over the years, you can very easily move from one team to another, but I don't want my F1 career to go like that. I don't want to be part of 4 or 5 teams. I want to build a long, stable and fun relationship with everyone in the team and feel at home there," Verstappen told Sky Sports Italy. "Home there. My next step in F1 will be the last. It doesn't seem like fun to change teams often. It's also something I don't want to do at this stage of my career. My next step, if it ever comes, will be my last step. But that next step could also be a contract extension with this team. That is all a matter of wait and see," the defending champion added. "Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. I am not thinking about that at the moment because there are so many things this year that I want to try to understand and do better for the next few years. What happens after that is still far away for me. So at the moment, I am not concerned with that." Although Max Verstappen is still signed with Red Bull Racing for the 2025 season, there is no certainty that the Dutchman will remain with the Austrian team. Helmut Marko recognizes that this is the case, outlining many factors that the Dutchman cherishes in order to stay in the world of Formula One. The three-time world champion has a deal with Red Bull that extends until the end of the 2028 season. However, 2024 has been a tumultuous year for the Milton Keynes-based squad, beginning with Christian Horner's claims before to the season's commencement. Those issues were resolved, but the turmoil led to the departure of several of Red Bull's senior executives, including Adrian Newey. Success on the track has also been a challenge, as after a record-breaking year for Verstappen and Red Bull in 2023, the Dutchman has not won since the Spanish Grand Prix in 2024, as he continues to behind Lando Norris in the driver's title. As a result, Marko understands that Verstappen's future at Red Bull is uncertain. "It's clear. If we don't offer Max a car with which he can win in the long term, he will definitely see his future where he gets the best package," Marko explained. After all top drivers have performance clauses in their contracts. Furthermore, Verstappen has never denied that retiring early from Formula One is a possibility. His dissatisfaction with the FIA, who punished him to community service for cursing during a news conference, does not add to his enjoyment of the sport. That is critical for the Dutchman to stay, Marko emphasized. Max is not like Alonso or Hamilton, who drive as long as they are physically fit enough to compete, the 81-year-old Austrian states. Max is interested in winning, but whether he has 4, 5, or 6 world championships, that is not his priority. He wants to enjoy himself and be enthusiastic about his sport and everything he does. And he wants an environment where he feels comfortable. Similar words have also said by Verstappen. So, if Red Bull wants to keep Max Verstappen within the squad, it will have to make some changes. Most notably, to the car, to make sure it's the fastest on the grid again. Otherwise, the risk of losing Verstappen becomes a real threat, and Red Bull Racing is aware of that. So, the changes, notably to the floor of the RB20, that the Austrian team is introducing for the US Grand Prix must work. For Max Verstappen to have any chance of winning the world title in 2024, much alone for Red Bull to still be in contention for the Constructors' Championship crown, they must work hard. There are no other options. Whether the improvements are successful remains to be seen. After all, Red Bull faces several challenges. While F1 drivers recover, their team's factories work hard to prepare for the season's final stretch. Almost every team will release upgrades later this month in Austin. Even McLaren, which has been so dominating in recent months, is attempting to extract even more performance from Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri's cars with some final adjustments. Red Bull Racing just can't be left behind. Yes, the team has been releasing enhancements, but with other teams also making adjustments, the issue is whether Red Bull's advances are sufficient to, first and foremost, avoid widening the gap to the front of the field, let alone get up to McLaren and Ferrari. However, Red Bull has a huge disadvantage in that. As reigning champions and Constructors' Championship leaders on June 30th, 2024, it has the least amount of time to spend in the wind tunnel and the least amount of time to perform computer simulations, while McLaren has more time. Verstappen and Sergio Perez's squad wants to provide all they have right now, but their recent success has become a major weight. Red Bull's out-of-date wind tunnel is likewise ineffective. The Austrian team must wait until mid-2026 for a new wind tunnel to become operational. McLaren, on the other hand, operates a cutting-edge facility. It's no surprise that the British team's rise to the top of the grid began practically concurrently with the commissioning of their wind tunnel. In terms of simulator utilization, Red Bull is also behind. Recently, a complicating aspect has been the link between the data that emerges in Milton Keynes in the simulator and the actuality on track. It's been different. Consider Red Bull's earlier round of radical modifications in Hungary. They were good on paper, but in fact, the team was unable to bridge the gap with McLaren. In fact, it is far from clear that Red Bull will return to being the top team on the grid in Austin. If they do, they might win the Drivers' Championship and could perhaps try to reel in McLaren again in the Constructor. And if the upgrades don't work, well, then Red Bull can get ready for some huge changes within the team in coming years, even bigger than the recent ones, as Verstappen will for sure be on the lookout for a new team, one that has its car in order. What do you think? Can Red Bull turn the ride around, or will they suffer in the last 6 races? And what about Verstappen? Will he leave the squad in the upcoming years? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.